Okay, guys, I am sorry that you cannot see me, but I did not want to be viewed as I'm doing this video because I'm still a little disgusted about a conversation that took place early this morning, which it bothers me, and it doesn't bother me per se because it's one of those creepy guys bothering me on my channel. It goes beyond that. This goes beyond anything on the internet, basically. There's been many women, I'm sure, out there that has had some kind of guy that was, like, obsessed with them because they, like, met them somehow or became acquainted with them and they, like, fell in love with you or something or became obsessed over you because you smiled at them and you were polite to them and stuff. And they proceed to, like, ask you, like, would you do this or that? Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. One thing that's personally happened to me is being asked if I would, like, do, like, under the clothes type videos and photos for a certain amount of money. You know, basically asking me something like that is calling me a freaking prostitute, plain English. Or making me feel like one, basically, because why would you say something like that, you know? Does it make you feel like a bigger man with a bigger stiffy to say I'll pay you like $5,000 for pornography that you make yourself? Basically, like pictures or a video or whatever the case might be. I think that's wrong, because nobody should be saying that to somebody that's already taken. You know, the same incidents that I'm speaking of, you know, that person also kept saying how gorgeous and beautiful I was, you know, on the outside. You know, I'm going to say this too. There is more to me than just what I look like on the outside. I wish people would stop, you know, being obsessed with how I look, you know, on the outside, and actually get to know who I am in my heart and as a person, because I am not, and I'm going to put this plainly, I am not a KFC value meal. I have more respect for myself than that. And if this offends anybody that's listening to this, good. Maybe you should change the way you talk to women and actually respect them when they say they're with somebody. Because this person that had this conversation with me knew I was not single, but still chose to go there and be disrespectful. And like I said, this goes beyond YouTube and the internet. This could even happen in real life, because I've heard of it happening. You know, it happens anywhere. And it's wrong. You know, why do guys feel the need to disrespect women? Especially the ones that are not single, they're married, or have a boyfriend, have kids. It's like, you know, if you know that person has, you know, a spouse and has children, why would you want to create issues for that person that don't need to happen? That's just wrong. You know, in so many ways wrong. And no, this is not a bullying up on anybody video either. This is just me expressing how I feel about this. Because I know, like I said, there's got to be other women that have been, you know, treated like that. I'm not the only one in history to be talked to like that by somebody. And before the ending of this video, I'm going to warn somebody or anybody that might get offended, but I'm going to give my husband a few moments to express how he feels, because not only was I disrespected and basically made to feel like a prostitute, you know, this goes deeper than that. That also makes him feel disrespected, because you're stepping on somebody's toes when the woman is with somebody, married or committed and going to be married. It doesn't make any difference. If you know that person isn't single, you don't do things like that. And I don't know how he feels personally, but I'm going to let him, express it, because I think it's a valid thing that he should have say on how he feels about people saying things like that and doing things like that and trying to do things like that. Trying to bait me into doing things that are just purely and morally wrong. It's bad when you have to tell the person twice that it's against your beliefs to do something like that. And they don't get it. They want to persist on having you do something that you don't want to do. And that's wrong. But anyway, I'm going to pause this real quick. And when it comes back, I'm going to let my husband have a few minutes to say what he wants to say. If you do not want to hear him, close the video out right now. I'm giving you warning in advance. Because I'm not going to filter and I'm not going to tell him to watch what he says. Because if there's some graphic language, that's okay. Because you know what? That might be the way he feels. So if you don't want to hear that, then just leave now. And I ain't going to let this run for any brief amount of time for you to close the video out. So the moment you see this back on and you see him in focus, if you don't want to hear it, you might want to leave. So anyway, I'm going to let him have his say, and I'll talk to you all later. If anybody would like to comment on this, feel free to do so. Anyway, here he is.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, honey.
I'm going to throw this out there. And I'm going to say it very simply to all of you. First thing is this. I'm going to ask you a legitimate question. Where in the Holy Bible does it say, and this goes for women as well as men, because you see, I've been through this with women, which is why I stay away from chat rooms and things of the like. Where in the Holy Bible does it say that you should go to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and any other social media site that's out there? Where in the Bible does it say that that's where you're going to meet your quote-unquote soulmate without actually meeting them, talking to them, getting to know their likes, dislikes, what their belief system is, whether they're a recovering alcoholic / addict, and to be honest with all of you, it took me 5 years of conversation. And out of that 5 years of conversation, about 6 months of it went to the bedroom. And that was at the end, before I left New Bedford, Massachusetts, to meet my wife. Gee, I wonder why. Because I am what people will say, I'm an old-fashioned type of guy. I don't believe in looking on social media, looking at people's pictures, looking at people's videos, and saying, oh, you're so And what do you know about this person, little Mr. or Miss Lustful Sinner? You see, I am a very strong believer in the Word of God. And if you don't believe me, I will tell you. I can back up everything that I've just said with the Word of God. Every single thing I said. Because it also says in the Bible that the Lord Himself will provide you with everything that you need. And it clearly states after it says He will provide you with everything you need, it says food, shelter, clothing. In His time, you will find who you're supposed to be with. So why don't all of you get off your high horses, off your little pedestals, because you think you're holier than thou? Because believe me, I may be a man of God, but I'm also a human being. And if you want to know what happens when you piss me off, there is another video that my wife has made. Trust me. Like I said, I may be a man of God, but I'm going to give all of you males out there that want to make passes at my wife, I'm going to give you a fair warning. And unless you've had an experience with me, because some of you have, you've learned the hard way. When I say I'm the very last person on the face of this planet that you want to piss off, trust me. I've told off family members, and I don't talk to 99% of my blood family for less than what you people have done. And after you people insult my wife and everything else, and she's in tears, it's not you that has to help her. It's not you that has to make her feel better. It's not you that has to give her a shoulder to cry on. It's freaking me.
Can I add 2 cents into this? You brought up family members. Think of how Danny and Chris talked to me. What did I do to them? I told them off, and I told them never contact me because I didn't want to hear from them. Because both of them were rude as sin to me. And those are my brother-in-laws. That's his brothers. I won't put up with their behavior because they're belligerent toward people. And that's coming from an alcoholic that won't get help, and that's coming from a drug addict that won't get help. Neither one is worse than the other because they're both assholes. Excuse the language, but they're both assholes. And I know you'll agree with me on that. They're both worthless people because they won't do anything to better themselves.
I will put it this way about my brothers. The last time I heard from my brother Christopher was when I left Missouri 7 years ago.
Oh, you heard from him like in the last 2 years recently. Remember? Because when we had that big blow up between me and him, because he was a smart ass on one of my Facebook posts. Remember? He insinuated that I was a active alcoholic. You and Chris had words then because you told him off because that wasn't the case, and he was, making something out of nothing, which he's good for.
Oh yeah, that's little Mr. I am an EMT that failed the test 4 times!
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but that's like, you're bragging that you failed a test. It's like, how is that even relevant? But getting on from them, I was just bringing up Danny and Chris as an example that, you know, Danny was rude to me too.
When was the last time I heard from Danny? 2 Christmases ago?
No, last year. Because he texted you and said, "Be thankful you're my brother. Merry Christmas, asshole." That's what he said. Yeah, what outstanding gentleman I'm highlighting right now, right? You should tell these guys how Danny's motto is for women, because they kind of think the same way as him.
Yeah. I'm gonna be blunt now. I get to be blunt. But I'm that way anyway.
Right?
If all of you guys out there want to live just like my brother and do the 4 F's, and if you happen to not know what the 4 F's are, or if you've never heard of them, I'll give them to you straight up and no sugar added. Find them, peel them, buck them, forget them.
That's not a guy I want to be around.
So while all of you are out there searching your way and failing miserably, time is short, my friends. It's very short now. Prophecy is being fulfilled right in front of your eyes. And you're not even seeing it because you're too busy thinking about what's between a woman's legs, and you're thinking with the wrong freaking head. Common sense here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put a very valid question out there, because I've asked it on Facebook too. When is common sense gonna make a comeback?
One last thing I'm going to say before I end this, because we're rolling into like the 18-minute mark. Basically, what I said, I think you'll agree with me, before I started shooting and showing you talking, was, believe it or not, I am not a cheap KFC value meal.
Like I said, I'm old-fashioned. Kimberly and I spent many, many hours on the phone talking about the most obscure junk.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, and one of the things that somebody told me on the phone, and it happens to be Kimberly there, she told me, "You should come out to Tucson." I was like, "Tucson? That shit's too freaking hot. 120 degrees in the shade, that's too freaking hot." She goes, "But it's a dry heat my butt."
All right, guys.
Hot is hot.
All right, guys. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this because we're coming up on 19 minutes, and I don't know how much longer the filming will go. So, if you would like to leave a comment for him or me, you can do so below. And
I'm going to say just one last thing.
All right.
And I hope this really sinks in. Heed my words, my friends. Respect goes a very long way.
All right. With that being said, we're out of here. Talk to you all soon. Bye.